So last week, all of us competed in Poetry Out Loud. We all now know how hard it is to memorize a poem and get up in front of, at that time, 10 or 12 or 15 people and recite it, and it was hard. So well done, all of you. Clap. Really, they were great. You could ask Brian and Matt, who are new to this whole thing, what they think of it from the outside, but I think they've enjoyed it. Second, I really want to recognize the grade level winners because they were exceptional. So I'm going to read everybody's names really fast so we can clap for them. Other people who really excelled then these are Adriana White, Joe Guzan, Nick Merlo, Jackson Turnage, Kat Bradford, Julia Wolf, Sasha Atterbury, Darissa Tyndall, Max Blatter, Matthew Ritter, Alyssa Norley, Sophie Cohen, Faith Webster, Ivan Hubman Warner, Kira Rubin, Adam Rainey, and Malika Ferguson. They were great. And finally, having all learned a poem and identified these people, today we have to choose a single person who will advance from Crossroads champion to the regional finals, and that'll be a month from now. And maybe that person will even go on a month later to the Missouri State Finals, and even maybe a month later to the national finals. So that's what's ahead of these young ladies up here. Today is the first time we have asked contestants to memorize a second poem. That is because Poetry Out Loud has asked us to only identify a school champion based on 2 poems, so that's the standard now going out from here. We're going to do a round 1 where they all do 1 poem, and then a round 2 where they all do their second, and we will be able to announce the winner by the end of the day, by 3:30 or 4. So welcome and good luck to Leah in 7th, Hobie in 8th, Taya in 9th, Minori in 10th, Meg in 11th, and Emily in 12th.
Pity the Beautiful by Dana Joya. Pity the beautiful, the dolls and the dishes, the babes with big daddies granting their wishes. Pity the pretty boys, the hunks and Apollos, the golden lads whom success always follows. The hotties, the knockouts, the 10s out of 10, the drop-dead gorgeous, the great leading men. Pity the faded, the bloated, the blousy, the paunchy Adonis, whose luck's gone lousy. Pity the gods, no longer divine. Pity the night, the stars lose their shine.
But we can hear very well over it, so don't worry about it.
Not yet.
Sure, you can test.
I?
A little louder.
Louder from here?
Either be closer or move it towards you a little bit.
Hello? The Heavenly City by Stevie Smith. I sigh for the heavenly country where the heavenly people pass, and the sea is as quiet as a mirror of beautiful, beautiful glass. I walk in the heavenly field with lilies and poppies bright. I'm dressed in a heavenly coat of polished white. When I walk in the heavenly parkland, my feet on the pasture are bare. Tall waves the grass, but no harmful creature is there. At night I fly over the housetops and stand on the bright moony beams. Gold are all heaven's rivers, and silver for streams. Hello? Hello? The Children's Hour by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupations. That is known as the Children's Hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is opened, and voices soft and sweet. From my study, I see in the lamplight, descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra, and Edith with golden hair. A whisper, and then a silence. Yet I know by their merry eyes, they are plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden rush from the stairway, a sudden raid from the hall. By 3 doors left unguarded, they enter my castle walls. They climb up into my turret, over the arms and back of my chair. If I try to escape, they surround me. They seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses, their arms about me entwined, till I think up the Bishop of Bingham in their mouse tower on the Rhine. Do you think, oh blue-eyed bandity, because you have scaled the wall, such an old mustache as I am is not a match for you all? I have you fast in my fortress and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeon, in the round tower of my heart. And there will I keep you forever, yes, forever and a day, till the walls shall crumble to ruin and molder in dust away.
The Conqueror Worm by Edgar Allan Poe. Lo, 'tis a gala night within the lonesome latter years. An angel throng, bewinged, bedight in veils and drowned in tears, sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes in the form of God on high mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly, Mere puppets they who come and go at bidding of vast formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings invisible woe. That motley drama, oh, be sure it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth in to the self-same spot. And much of madness and more of sin and horror, the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, it writhes. With mortal pangs, the mimes become its food, and seraphs sob at venom fangs and human gore imbued. Out, out are the lights, out all, and over each quivering form, the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy man, and its hero, the conqueror worm.
Hello? Is that good? Alright, cool. I Have a Time Machine by Brenda Shaughnessy. But unfortunately, it can only travel into the future at a rate of 1 second per second, which seems slow to the physicists and to the grant committees and even to me. But I managed to get there, time after time, to the next moment and to the next. Thing is, I can't turn it off. I keep zipping ahead. Well, not zipping. And if I try to get out of this time machine, open the latch, I'll fall into space, unconscious, then desecrated, and I'm pretty sure I'm afraid of that. So I stay inside. There's a window though. It shows the past. It's like a television or fish tank. But it's never live, it's always over. The fish swim in backward circles. Sometimes it's like a rearview mirror, another chance to see what I'm leaving behind. And sometimes, like blackout, all that time wasted sleeping. Myself, age 8, whole head burnt with embarrassment at having lost a library book. Myself, lurking in the candled corner, expecting to be found charming. Me, holding a rose, though I want to put it down so I can smoke. Me, exploding at my mother, who explodes at me because the explosion of some dark star all the way back struck hard at mother's mother's mother. I turn away from the window, anticipating a blow. I thought I'd find myself an old woman by now, traveling so light in time, but I haven't gotten far at all. Strange not to be able to pick up the pace as I'd like. The past is so horribly fast.
The Legend by Garrett Hongo. In Chicago, it is snowing softly, and a man has just done his wash for the week. He steps into the twilight of early evening, carrying a wrinkled shopping bag full of neatly folded clothes, and for a moment, enjoys the feel of warm laundry and crinkled paper, flannel-like against his gloveless hands. There's a Rembrandt glow on his face, a triangle of orange in the hollow of his cheek, as a last flash of sunset blazes the storefronts and lit windows of the street. He is Asian, Thai or Vietnamese, and very skinny, dressed as one of the poor in rumpled suit pants and a plaid mackinaw, dingy and too large. He negotiates the slick of ice on the sidewalk by his car, opens the Fairlane's back door, leans to place the laundry in, and turns for an instant toward the flurry of footsteps and cries of pedestrians as a boy. That's all he was. Backs from the corner package store, shooting a pistol, firing it once at the dumbfounded man who falls forward, grabbing at his chest. A few sounds escape from his mouth, a babbling no one understands, as people surround him, bewildered at his speech. The noises he makes are nothing to them. The boy has gone, lost in a light array of foot traffic, dappling the snow with fresh prints. Tonight, I read about Descartes' grand courage to doubt everything except his own miraculous existence. And I feel so distinct from the wounded man lying on the concrete. I am ashamed. Let the night sky cover him as he dies. Let the weaver girl cross the bridge of heaven and take up his cold hands.
Yeah.
The Paradox by Paul Laurence Dunbar. I am the mother of sorrows. I am the ender of grief. I am the bud and the blossom. I am the late falling leaf. I am thy priest and thy poet. I am thy serf and thy king. I cure the tears of the heartsick. When I come near, they shall sing. White are my hands as a snowdrop. Swart are my fingers as clay. Dark is my frown as the midnight. Fair is my brow as the day. Battle and war are my minions, doing my will as divine. I am the calmer of passions. Peace is a nursing of mine. Speak to me gently or curse me. Seek me or fly from my sight. I am thy fool in the morning. Thou art my slave in the night. Down to the grave will I take thee, out from the noise of the strife. Then shalt thou see me and know me, death then no longer but life. Then shalt thou sing at my coming, kiss me with passionate breath, clasp me and smile to have thought me, ought save the foeman of death. Come to me, brother, when weary. Come when thy lonely heart swells. I'll guide thy footsteps and lead thee down where the dream woman dwells.
Oh, wow.
Dawn of Man by Max Ritvo. After the cocoon, I was in a human body instead of a butterfly's. All along my back there was great pain. I groped to my feet where I felt wings behind me trying to tilt me back. They succeeded in doing so after a day of exertion. I called that time, overwhelmed with the ghosts of my wings, sleep. My thoughts remained those of a caterpillar. I took pleasure in climbing trees. I snuck food into all my pains. My mouth produced language which I attempted to spin over myself and rip through happier and healthier. I do this every few minutes. I think to myself, what made me such a failure? It's all a little touchingly pathetic to live like this, a grown creature telling ghost stories, staring at pictures, paralyzed for hours. And even over dinner or in bed, still hearing the stories, seeing the pictures, an undertow sucking me back into myself. I'm told to set myself goals, but my mind doesn't work that way. I instead have wishes for myself. Wishes aren't afraid to take on their own color and life. Like a boy who takes a razor from a high cabinet, puffs out his cheeks, and strips them bloody.
Reina de Castilla by Sandra M. Castillo. All accounts of the past are made up of possibilities. Dionisio Martinez, for Larry Villanueva. 1. For years, you were a story of ancestors, pre-revolutionary Cuba, Barrios, Donate, Gaeta, Villanueva, family names, strong and pearled in the Caribbean by blood and memory. Nostalgia and calamity in Ardenisa, a small town in my mother's childhood. A woman in December of 1967, your Tia Martha. A hospital room in La Covadonga, rows and rows of children. My sisters, unexpectedly too, your cousins whose clothes May and Mitzi wore into history and exile. En el exilio, La Cuba del Norte, 10 years after the summer of El Mariel, you were my map of Cuba. Un espejo, un reflejo, atiza. Blue knot of possibility. Mi esquina habanera, a street in La Arquitectura del Pasado. a superficial distance in the patina of memory, a me I had never really known, a language I'd learned not to think in. Later, you were a face on TV in Guadalupe, Maria Elena, my mother's telenovelas in El Canal 23, an actor, a director, a sculptor. Abstract inks with the face history and coincidence had given me. 2. So when you become fingerprints and words, a noun, a verb, a snapshot in motion, I am no longer alone with my ghosts. Las sombras de el pasado, inventing truth, reclaiming language, my old self. I am an I, simple, exposed. This afternoon in our lives, a conversation about the circle of coincidence and persuasion, a photograph of an idea we once were, and you are familiar somehow. 3, constantly returning, we breathe in Spanish, move through blank spaces like incantations, waiting for words to fill a moment, often 90 miles long, with etymology, jargon, ghost words, shadows and nostalgia, and become Arena de Castilla, Larry, reshaped, translated, improvised, sculpted, and redefined.
Undivided Attention by Taylor Molly. A grand piano wrapped in quilted pads by movers, tied up with canvas straps like classical music's birthday gift to the criminally insane, is gently nudged without its legs out an 8th floor window on 62nd Street. It dangles in April air from the neck of the mover's crane. Chopin's shiny black lacquer squares and dirty white crisscross patterns. Hanging like the second to last note of a concerto played on the edge of the seat, the edge of tears, the edge of 8 stories up going over. It's a piano being pushed out of a window and lowered down onto a flatbed truck. And I'm trying to teach math in the building across the street. Who can teach when there are such lessons to be learned? All the greatest common factors are delivered by long-necked cranes and flatbed trucks, or come through everything, even air, like snow. See, snow falls for the first time every year, and every year my students rush to the window as if snow were more interesting than math, which, of course, it is. So please, let me teach like a Steinway, spinning slowly in April air, so almost falling, so hinderingly dangling from the neck of the mover's crane, so on the edge of losing everything. Let me teach, like the first snow falling.
A thank you note by Michael Ryan for John Spoils. My daughter made drawings with the pens you sent. Line drawings that suggest the things they represent. Different than any drawings she at 10 had done. Closer to real art, implying what the mind fills in. For her mother, she made a flower, fragile on its stem. For me, a lion, calm, contained, but not a handsome one. She drew a lion for me once before on a get well card and wrote, "I must be brave, even when it's hard." Such love is healing, as you know, my friend, especially when it comes unbidden from our children, despite the flaws they see so vividly in us. Who can love you as your child does? Your son's so ill, the brutal chemo, his looming loss owning you now. Yet you would be this generous to think of my child. With the pens you sent, she has made, I hope, a healing instrument.
There are birds here, by Jamal May. For Detroit. There are birds here, so many birds here, is what I was trying to say when they said those birds were metaphors for what is trapped between buildings and buildings. No, the birds are here to root around for bread the girls' hands tear and toss like confetti. No, I don't mean the bread is torn like cotton. I said confetti. And no, not the confetti a tank can make of a building. I mean the confetti a boy can't stop smiling about. And no, his smile isn't much like a skeleton at all. And no, his neighborhood is not like a war zone. I'm trying to say his neighborhood is as tattered and feathered as anything else. As shadow-pierced by sun and light-parted by shadow dance as anything else. But they won't stop saying how lovely the ruins, how ruined the lovely children must be in that birdless city.
You all were amazing as an audience. Thank you. You can go back to activity. We'll know by the end of the day.